Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do when you start this is you're going to want to drag your videos in. I'm going to drag in the takes. So these are the from the TikTok video. So these right here. And then what I'm going to do is make a new folder by just clicking on new folder, and then I'm going to right click again, name the folder, and then I'll call this the original video or something. Whatever you can remember. Just say original video. And it's broken up into takes, of course. So we're going to highlight those and drag those in. Now what we're going to do is take the videos that we did, and we're going to call these the footage. So I'm going to make a new folder, right click, new folder, right click on the folder, and name that, or rename that, footage. All right, the naming doesn't really matter, it's just so you know. I'm going to highlight this, drag these in, and now we're going to do it the other way. And the other way is just basically putting these as markers. Yeah, I'm going to set this as markers. There we go. So we do it here. I'm going to add a marker there, add a marker here, add a marker. Now that I think about it, I think it might be better to work as if we did this in 4K. Because most of the time we shoot in 4K, but then we export it in HD for Instagram. Because Instagram and YouTube and TikTok is going to suppress the quality anyway, so we don't need to export in 4K all the time. Okay, so we got everything marked. I'm going to make sure I mark the end. So regardless of what we do, this video needs to end at the 22-second mark. Yeah, if that ever happens, like if you click here and this whole menu changes, just click anywhere out and then it should be fine. So this looks completely different than the old Capcut. So if your Capcut doesn't have these little icons looking like this, then you definitely need to update. But I'm going to see what happens if I delete these. Yeah, so you see how the markers are still there. So now what we can do is I can go ahead and pull up this one. See, now I know exactly how long it should be. So when I say rolling, obviously I'm actually gonna mute the audio because we don't really need that. I'm going to go like this. And another thing you can do is actually easier. If you right click, you can extract the audio. Or if you do Control Shift, oh, okay, maybe it's a S. Control S or Control Shift and S. That will extract the audio, and then you can just click on it and delete it. You don't really need the audio. Now you might be saying, "Oh man, this is kind of long." No worries. You can either do this, or you can click on speed and then hover your mouse here, and then it will size it and it'll be faster. Yeah, that might be more engaging, but it's just another option. I think I like the normal speed better. So you can splice with the Control B. I like to use shortcuts when I can. And then you see that this needs more space, so we're gonna pull it back. The reason why it's working this way is because we have this turned on, which is main track magnet. I would keep main track magnet on unless you need to do some really specific changes. But for the most part, yeah, I would keep that on. All right, so I'm going to zoom in. This is your zoom option, so this is get us closer in. I'm just going to scoot this frame. There we go. So now we got the frame. I wanted to make sure it ended on the right frame. So that's the first shot. And the lighting is good. I don't even think we'll need to do much color grading for this. Then we have this shot. This is shot 2. I'm going to get this one. So this is another cool trick. So this is called delete left. So all you gotta hit, you just hit Q and it deletes the left side, and if you hit W, it deletes the right side. It just moves really fast to do it that way. So I'm just gonna hit W like I'm playing a video game, and yeah, look at that. I noticed that the colors are different on this one versus this one. So we might have to work on that. There's a feature you can do, I'm not gonna worry about right now, but you can color match your scenes. All right, let's keep going. We're gonna breeze through this now that you know the basics. I'm gonna look at the end. Let me see how that ends. I'm gonna end it right there, and then let me see. I'm gonna start right there. All right, so move this a little bit, and like I said, we just want to make sure we zoom in. I think that's good. All right, I think that's good. All right, so I'm gonna zoom this out a little bit. All right, we got 3 more to go, so we're gonna do this one. I do remember that we have less scenes than the original. So this one is like this, and then this one is like that. That's actually looks pretty. All right, so that. We're going to put this one in. I think this is the match cut. So we want to stay on motion or capture the first shot while in motion. So we're going to do this. So she goes, and then as soon as it ends, about right there, we're gonna cut, and then we'll move this over, and then it should cut here. I'm gonna make sure this works. Let me make sure. I'm apprehensive that worked. So this marker here, we actually can move it right about there. Then we can delete this marker. because that mark we have a less scenes than, but then we can just cut it. Let's cut here with a W, and then that's it. Now, I mean, technically, we could say, oh, we're done. This is pretty much it. But we're missing a few things. What I do like to do is add music to the original soundtrack to this, but you can always add that during the upload to TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I don't think we need to do any color grading, so I won't add that into this tutorial. This actually looks pretty damn good. But I will say there's a color thing happening here where colors like this because the sun and the clouds maybe covered the sun, and then it's like more yellow here and it's just that first shot looks more vibrant. So it's an easy fix to do this is just click on here, then go to adjust, and then go to color match. And then to do the color match, we're just gonna pick a scene that was right this. This is a good one. So we're gonna match this. So hit OK, and now it's color match. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy, right? They used to take forever to do manually. It's still a little bit too vibrant, so you would just take down the saturation just a tad. I think. Oh, it's not gonna let me go. Make sure it matches. And then we'll probably take down the exposure down just a bit. And sorry for the lag. I am rendering something in After Effects, so it is kind of making this a bit harder to work in Capcut while After Effects is hogging my RAM, even though I got a lot of RAM. Okay, so looking at this now, we could brighten things up. So if you want to brighten things up, just add a custom adjustment layer here, and then you just hover and move this over, and then you can do an auto address. I'm going to use this frame here because I'll just say this is the hero frame. If you use auto adjust, it just brightens it up. This is what it looks like before and after this way. Actually, it helps. It does help make it look good. And then you can do color correction. Color correction rarely ever helps anything. Yeah, I don't see really a big deal using that. But definitely this helped a lot. So the only thing is it's kind of too much, if that makes sense. It's a little bit too much. So if you want to drop it to about right there, that's really good. If you don't like the yellow-ishness, then you can just drop it to like that. That'll take away a little bit if it's too yellow. But if you do like it yellow, you can crank it up to like, no, that's too much. You can crank it to like right there. You can go in here and actually change the yellow even more, but I don't think you need to do that. I think this looks really good. This is another good shot with the colors and stuff. This is what it looks like without it. You see how it kind of looks boring, and then that's what makes things pop a bit more. But yeah, I think this is good. The colors are just really good, and the framing, that's another thing. So two things you want to make sure is that the framing is good, and then you want to make sure that the camera is stable. So let's look at this. This first shot's really good. This is good. So this is might not be framed good. So maybe we scale this up a little bit, about right there, and then kind of move it about right there. Let's see what that looks like. This is more center it a bit. I like that this is a weird framing, so I think we should scale this up even more. This to kind of mix up the framing and then have it here. Whenever you scale, it's going to pixelate. So to fight back on pixelization, then you want to go here and enhance quality. And I rarely would recommend using UHD. That's the other option. I would just use HD unless you got to scale it up, because then it's going to look really bad if you scale it up too much. So give it a bit to like do its upscale thing, and then this should sharpen it. If you want to add any sharpness to any of this, you can just go to adjust, scroll all the way down, and then that's your sharpening. I usually wouldn't sharpen more than like 5, if that. That just gives it that HD look. But you can see the progress when you're adding enhancement, so this definitely takes a lot of time. But if you want to sharpen it, we can add a 3 sharpening. This will give it a little bit of a punch visually. There's your brilliance. Crank that bad boy up, but that's another one I would only crank up to like 2 if I wanted to have it stand out. I'm not going to touch too much with this. I like to always check the before and after, and yeah, I'm not going to bother with this too much. Like I said, I think it could have done without color grading at all, to be honest. Let me see if that's, yeah, that's going to take some time. Let me keep playing this. We'll see how this rest of this looks. This is really good. I love it. That was really good. Great job. And then this is where it looks kind of unstable. So if you want to add stabilization or stabilize, You just click on that and let's use the recommend. I think that'll be good. All right, so now you got two features cooking in the kitchen while they are brewing their stew. One last thing, we need the audio. So let me find that audio really quick. Here it is. I'm gonna drag it in here. We're gonna do our Control S or Control Shift S to separate the audio. Drag that. There we go. Drag that over here. You'll see that it's longer, but that's no problem. Let's just delete that. Alright, now I don't know if you'll be able to hear this audio for this recording. I'm going to play it so I can hear it. That sound is from TikTok. Alright, let's make sure we don't include this TikTok sound. Audio is longer than the actual video, or the audio is shorter than the actual video. I could shorten this last scene. That kind of sucks. I kind of like how it ended. I guess it could end it there. Or this is what it would look like if we sped it up at the end, but it's gonna look bad. Yes, I like 2.76. Yeah, that's gonna ruin it. What we could do if I sped it up by 10%. Let's want to see if it makes sense. That's not terrible, because then we could just end it right there. I think that works. Sure, do this. Yeah, I think that works. We sped it up by 10%. That way you made the walk sort of. But that's it. That's pretty much it. And all the effects are in there. So, all right, I'm going to pause it right there. So this one here, it's kind of long. So I'm wondering if we can just cut it here. This is where the polishing part of the editing comes in. Let's make sure we do Control B, split it. I think it would be cool if this was like a close-up. This is where you would actually want to use the Ultra enhancement. So we're going to switch to, this is the only reason why we use this, because it's going to get pixelated. But I think this because it's so long, like that clip here is just way too long as a static shot. Even the first 3 seconds is kind of long, but if you have text on the screen, it should be fine. Something that you can do when you post this is more of a marketing tip, is since we did this during the art fair in Dublin, you could basically put I gotta change back into my normal clothes and walk through this. I don't know, that sounds like more of a caption than anything, but maybe some headlines like, hey, about to go to this art fair, let me change real quick, or something like that, a shortened version of that, and that will have people like want to watch it to the end. Something like that could help bring like more engagement. Yeah, that flowed really good. So this is another one we can do. We can split it right in the middle. Control B, and then we do a medium close-up. So let me blow this up real close, right about there. And then of course we're going to want to enhance this a step further to Ultra. And then you can see ultra enhancement takes forever. Like it's at 90% still. This is not centered, so let's make sure we center it. There is another feature. It's a face tracker. I might as well show that before this thing ends. Let's go back to 100 and then hold Shift to slide it to stay still. And so to do a tracking mask, auto reframe. Let's see if that works. Original auto reframe is more for like if this video was a 16:9. I don't think this is what we really need. We probably want camera tracking. So we're going to do face. So you can see. Let me try to zoom in here so you can see it. This thing is going to track your face basically. Now, when we do this, what I'm going to preemptively do first is I'm going to make sure this thing is centered before we start tracking anything. Let me zoom this out. This is when I prefer After Effects for stuff like this, but Capcut can do it, so I might as well show it. Alright, so we got her tracked here, or at least centered. Let's make sure that the face is tracked. It just lost the face. Don't know why. Let's start it here. Okay, there you go. So now it has tracking on the face. So we're going to start tracking. Let's see if this works. It's waiting right now because of the feature is updating. Yeah, the ultra enhancement is still working. Other than that, this is pretty much it. What I'll do, I'll pause this and let it kind of do its thing, and then once it's done, I'll show you the final video. Alright, so let's see kind of how this looks real quick. I just realized this is kind of off-center too. I'm gonna just move it right about there. There we go. I didn't realize it was off-center. Hang on. I want to make sure I have it in like a safe zone. All right, I think that's good. I'm being a little bit too picky. Yep, it did. It tracked it. This one probably should track too. But the only thing about these two shots, she's right there and then she's right here. So it doesn't really line up. So we probably got to drop it. Let me see how that looks now. Yeah, I think this should be a close up. So we'll make it a close up about right there. Only because of the previous shot. So it goes in. This still looks kind of pixelated. I think that'll help. Let's do another tracking on this one too. So we're gonna add camera track, start, and I think I was about to say let's end the video, but it just tracked it that quick. Wow, that's crazy. We're gonna have to add stabilization though, because it is shaky now that we add the tracking. So let's add stabilization. Let's get that in there. And then I think that'll smooth out the shakiness from the track. Didn't realize CapCut's tracking was that good. All right, let's see. Way good, way better. Object size. Let me see what that does. Fit to canvas. If it fits to canvas, it's probably going to use AI for the outside of it. I want to try fit to canvas. I'm just curious. Let's see. All right, we'll render it, see how it looks, and that's pretty much it.